This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters. That's unthinkable to me. That you have an opportunity in your lifetime to be a professional, that you think about quitting. See, you don't quit and you don't quit in sports. You retire. You don't get to quit. It's not an option. See, someone told me that a long time ago. That ain't even an option. And the person told me that, he ain't here anymore. He died. You don't get that option. Now you can retire. You can do that. But you ain't quitting. You ain't doing that. Not on my watch.
This is a Silk exclusive.
Welcome to another episode of Words Music Dance. I'm your host as always, Paulie the Bull, no relation to Gravano. I am joined today with the hosts of Homie Picks. We got Ben, we got Lou, we got Jared. Jared, one time, give me your Homie Picks intro.
Good morning, good afternoon, good day to all. Welcome to another edition of Homie Picks, also sponsored in conjunction with Words Music Dance.
True.
I am Jared.
Okay.
Here with Lou, Ben, and also A2021Vision President, Paul the motherfucking Bull.
Yeah, all that. Shout out to everybody listening, shout out to everybody watching, you know what I'm saying? As you can tell, they are here. We did the Homie Picks joint because we talking football right now today. We just finished watching the conference championship games. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But once again, we have two Discord channels that are both in the description below. We have a Homie Picks Discord channel for sports and all that stuff. And then we have a Words Music Dance Discord channel for pretty much news, everything else. And they're all down there. Click it, join the conversation because the conversation continues. All right. Hi, Mom. And before we get to the games, let's talk about you guys first and foremost. Homie Picks, basically season pretty much done. You got one more pick left in you, Super Bowl. But to end the season off, Jared, you were in last place by one game.
All right.
You went 43 and 32, so 57% right, which is still, pretty good. Ben said when you guys started, as long as you're 50% or better, you're good. So, 57% is very accurate. Ben, you beat him by one, going 44 and 31.
That's all I needed, bro.
59%, so almost 60%. That's quarterback numbers. You only be 60% accuracy on that, you know what I'm saying? But Lou, this was your year. You had a couple of perfect weeks. Let me see. Lou was 4-1.
And then had two horrible weeks after that.
He was 4-1, 4-1, 3-2, 5-0, 4-1, 2-3, 3-2, 2-3, 2-3, 5-0, 4-1, 5-0, 2-3, 3-4, and then 0-3 to end the season off. So, but you finished in total with 47 right and 28 wrong for 63%. So, 63% accuracy, even with that, And again, the week you did 0 for everything, you went opposite. So you pretty much would have been perfect that week if you would have just picked the opposite of what you did pick.
That was my opposite.
But you can see the standings and everything on the 2020vision.com. Actually, we got every episode on there. We got everything that they picked, the scores, all that good stuff right on there, as well as a link to FanDuel Sportsbook. You sign up, you get $50 free money to bet and do some things with, and yada yada yada. So have fun with that. But fellas, how did y'all feel about this season overall? You guys did the picks, you did some games. Did you feel like, because you guys all did pretty good, 57% and up. So did you feel like this season was predictable? It was weird. It was how'd you feel with it? So, Jared, we'll start with you since you was at the bottom of the list.
Oh, because I'm
How'd you
the
feel
fucking
about it?
bar. I'm the fucking bar now. This is,
You,
this
you
is
are. You are. But
man,
talk to me.
fuck football. That's how I feel, man. Fuck
Okay.
football as a sport, entertainment, and as a motherfucking crew. That's how I feel. All right, next.
Okay.
Go Ravens.
So yeah. So Ben, how do you feel about this season?
The season was a little wonky for me. I must say, like if you picked a lot of favorites, you did good this year. The favorites were by far the most successful picks, but I mean, it is what it is. I like to bet more underdogs just to get more money out of it, but
And that's fun.
can't complain.
Right. It's fun to pick the underdogs, you know what I mean? You have to have enjoyment with that. But Lou, you 63%. How'd you feel about this season? How'd it feel to you?
Yeah, I mean it was a topsy turvy season, right? You had teams on top that we didn't think were gonna be there. We had teams that were supposed to be on top that didn't even sniff the playoffs. So it was a lot of inconsistency and a lot of the winners won and the losers lost straight up. Like you can tell who were the teams that came to play and who teams didn't. So all in all, I would say it was an up and down season, but 63% I will take it.
I think it was about, let me see, you would say 12 wins or better. So there was two, three, four, five, six, seven teams, 12 wins or better. The Obviously the Lions were 15 wins and the Vikings were 14 wins in the same division. So a lot of wins in that division. So a lot of like you said, the favorites were kind of
What the
holding
Packers like 12 wins too?
11 or 10,
11.
I think.
11.
11.
11. So
Close
still,
enough.
and they beat up on the Bears and whoever else they played. So it was a very But again, I think they said the Vikings was the first 14 win team to lose in the wild card round. So again, them being 14 wins, they weren't number one in their division, so they didn't get that bye or the weaker team. They had to play a good team because of the way it falls. So there's been, I guess, talks of them revamping the playoff seeding. What do you guys think? Like, should they get rid of the whole division winner guarantees? Because they're saying, oh, there's always a weaker team that gets a home game. You know what I'm saying? Even though this year really wasn't that bad, everybody at least was above 500. You know what I'm saying? Every division leader had at least 10 wins. So we've seen years where it was 8 and 7 or sometimes even worse teams get the home court, the home field. So do you think they should leave the playoff seeding as is, or should they change that division winner gets a home game in the wild card round? What do you think? Lou, we'll start with you, Mr. Number One.
Well, I think definitely they should do a reseeding after the first round of playoffs. Because having a team, like the Vikings not host a playoff game is just crazy to me. Granted, it made no difference because they played on neutral field, but I think especially with divisions like the Vikings and the Lions, where those two teams again can repeat next year and have multiple wins, multiple digits wins. I think a reseeding is probably necessary after the first round because teams like the Chiefs coast through the playoffs, having to face those teams that beat up on each other early on. So I definitely think a reseeding should be done just in the sheer fact that it'll make it more interesting. We won't have those predictable matches that, some teams will start tanking towards the end of the season to avoid certain teams until, the championship round. So a reseeding would just make it, even playing field.
Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Lou here. I mean, reseeding would be good and just make it a little bit more competitive, particularly at least reward the teams that actually played well and got the better records. Because right now, yeah, like for example, AFC South, Texans came out of it, but it wasn't like the greatest division. Similarly, you can say with the NFC East, kind of stuff like that. So usually the weaker divisions, they get a home game just because. I mean, look at Tampa. They got a home game. NFC South was really weak this year. So, I mean, you don't want to reward, like, you want to reward a better record, I would think. So it'll just incentivize teams to play harder, particularly in weaker divisions.
I mean, Tampa Bay almost beat Washington. So Tampa Bay was I think Tampa Bay was a little better than their record showed. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to discredit that. So, but Jared, what do you think?
Tampa, I mean, Washington was better than the record was until they placed the Eagles. But I don't really care. Like, I mean, I can understand reseeding after the first, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, the game is, you're supposed to play to win, period. So I'm not going to reward you for not winning your division. Like, win your division. I don't care how many people in the NFC, I mean, we had this example for this year, for the North being so damn dominant, except for the Bears. Like, you have a division and you have people who won 11 games or more. 3 teams. That's cool. But the object is to win. You win, you get rewarded with a home field. I can care less if you're a 14-win team, you got to play on the road. Win your division. Simple as that. Go against Detroit, dominate them, beat them, host them. I mean, and honestly, the Vikings, I can really care less, because another reason why I say I care less is because then they have home field advantage against the Giants, and the Giants smoked them.
Oh yeah,
that year.
Couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago. Yeah. So I don't care about home field. Like, play to win, get rewarded by doing that, and then go from there.
True. Do you guys? What do you guys think about like NBA style, just NFC best record 1 through 7 or whatever, and AFC best record? Do you think the playoffs should be like that? Just best record.
Just overall conference.
Yeah, because you know how the NBA does East and West, but they do the conference. So best record in this conference, best record in that conference be the seeding. First round, get the first teams, look at the bye. So 2 would play 7, 3 still plays 6, and 4 and 5 still match up.
I'm cool with it, but at the same time, look, I get it. You play 18 grueling games, or 17 grueling games. And some people don't have a bye week forever. Whereas in this once a week stuff, like it's a more physical game than basketball. I think it's evident by the fact that people play once a week and not 2-3 times a week, like how other sports do play. Right. Like, it's a very taxing thing on your body. So I'm cool with the top seed having an extra bye week. I'm not objecting to that. I think, I'm sure other 1 seeds with like Detroit would love to have another game to play, because they like them, like Baltimore the other year, and other teams where you lose the first game you play because you could say, oh, well, we weren't in rhythm. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody else has been playing in rhythm because they're playing consistently throughout. We had a week off, and say that about the Chiefs. I can say what you want about the Chiefs, but the Chiefs still won, their game after a week off. So, I'm cool with this being a very taxing game and everybody getting a week off, and then you prepare for your other team. So, I don't know.
Because if they did do a just straight 1 through 7, the AFC would only have 1 team. So the Chargers and Texans, it would have just been a home game for the Chargers instead of the Texans, but they still would have played each other. But if the NFC just did straight 1 through 7, Minnesota would have jumped up to 3rd place instead of being down there. Washington would have been behind them in 3rd place instead of being where they played at. And Green Bay would have jumped up to like 4th place instead of being at the bottom at 7. So it would have been more of a restructuring in the NFC, and the AFC really just with 1 game would have just been the same teams that are matched up, but it just would have been on a different venue if they played a straight.
Well, didn't Washington beat Green Bay during the season? So I think Washington still would have had it over Green Bay.
Well, they had Green Bay had a better record. Oh no, Washington had a better record. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so Washington had a better record. I thought.
Yeah, Washington. Yeah, I was saying they would have been in the 3rd seed, and Green Bay would have been below them.
Okay, they were 3rd. Okay,
they would have been, because the Tampa Bay and LA had 10 wins. Green Bay had 11.
Gotcha. Right.
So Seattle still wouldn't have made it. They had 10 wins but didn't make it. But Tampa Bay and LA would have moved to the bottom, and Green Bay would have moved more. They would have pretty much hosted no, they wouldn't have hosted it, but they would have been higher seeded, so they would have ended up playing, either one of the middle teams there. So it would have changed. It would have been more change in the NFC. The AFC would have still been the same teams, same games. You know what I'm saying? Except for Chargers and Texans would have flipped home field. So if they did, so I still like to say, I mean, it's not a major difference with giving the home field to the division winner. The same teams still make the playoffs. And again, there's been other years where it was really like, okay, this team would even make the playoffs if they won the division. But that is the gift of winning your division. You know what I'm saying? And I guess until they restructure, and like, for example, the NFC East, that division, obviously Dallas is not an Eastern team, but it's a rivalry team with the Giants and the Eagles for years. So it's supposed to be a fun division. It's supposed to be, that rivalry, and when the teams are good, the NFL is better for it. So they need some kind of, they need to do something more with the teams need to get better. I think that's what it comes down to. The teams just need to get better. Not, I wouldn't change it myself. I just think, the divisions that suck, they just got to figure it out. Somebody got to get better and do better in that division. So
Yeah, I wouldn't change it that part either. I would keep the conference, each winner gets that. But yeah, they do have to figure out a way just to make each individual conference a little bit more competitive. Like I said, like 'cause some weak divisions, and when they have multiple losing teams, and middle of the year you can see they just basically just coasting and just not really trying anymore. But other than that, yeah, I mean, yeah, it doesn't make that much of a difference, particularly in the AFC. I mean, the AFC is just so top heavy right now. So
yeah, literally, they really are. Like and it's funny because even though, Detroit and Philly and Minnesota, had 14 or better wins, and only KC and Buffalo had 13 wins or better, but all year nobody really respected Minnesota. Sorry, Danny. The Eagles were also a little shaky because it was like we knew it was all Saquon. More on that later. And then the Lions were dealing with injuries all year, but it didn't really hinder them until they made it to the playoffs and eventually just couldn't fight it. So, speaking of injuries, do you guys feel, because now there's 17 game season, they're thinking about going to 18 games, adding I believe either Germany or something like more foreign games.
right.
Do you think that's taxing on the players? Do you think injuries are up or so because of that travel and like and more games getting thrown in, and even now we had a Wednesday game this season for Christmas. You think they're moving around too much and that's messing up players, or do you not mind that as well?
See, I feel like that's a combination of things, of factors with the injury part of it. I mean, you can say the lack of the preseason games. A lot of starters don't play, so they don't get those repetitions early on. So then when they get into the season, they're still getting those little minor injuries that probably they would have gotten during those preseason games and gotten it out the way. But if they do go to an 18 game, they would have to consider doing a 2-week buys for each team, because otherwise, yeah, it's just too taxing. It's a very, very demanding physical game to add that extra game. And then on top of that, all that travel. And then some of the teams get that short week on the Wednesday and the Christmas games and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, if they really want to do it, fine. But I think they really got to work in 2-week buys for each team.
I think what they've been saying, so to combat, like to your point about a 2-week buy, they're trying to keep it the same buy, but if you do play a travel game, then your next game is on Monday or something like that. I think they said, or they want to give you that long. Or
Yeah,
Thursday.
they try that. They try that, but still, I feel like it would just be better. You'll get better a better product if you give them some rest. If you're wearing them thin, they're gonna be worn out, and then for sure they're gonna start thinking load management kind of deals. And let me not play my starter this week, or let me limit him for X amount of snaps just because, just in case for the injuries. But now if you have a 2 week bye spread out between in the season, one of these weeks coming up, you at least get to rest some of you guys.
And let's not forget, the players voted on this. The last collective bargaining, they almost went on strike. Well, they did strike a little, but it was like before the season started, it was good. But the league doesn't just make, they can't just change it. The players have to agree upon it. So for the right price, the players is like, okay, you know what I mean? So they did agree on this extra game and all of this stuff. So but Jared, what do you think about that? What do you think about the?
I think if you're going to do an extra game overseas, I don't care if it's London, Germany, Holland, wherever. When you come back, you're guaranteed to have a day off. Like that's just what it has to be.
Yeah, because that's
If you're
always
going to do
a
it,
Saturday game. So
right? You're just going to have a like when you come back, that's your week off, just to recoup and get back. Because time zone adjustment is hard. It's hard enough, in America when you're going three, east to west, west to east, and you're doing 3 time zones right there. To go 7-8 hours ahead, so 6 hours ahead, whatever. Some places, that's hard enough by itself. So, if you're going to have that kind of thing and do an extra game, so now you're up to 18 games, then yeah, you're going to have to have one bye week for the return and another bye week as like a regular bye week, or a regular or random bye week, for that. But there's a problem that presents itself when you have 18 games you're playing, because that's kind of why you want to do an odd number, because if you're half and half, 8-8 or 9-9 in this case, that presents itself a little bit of a problem also, rather than 10-9 or 10-7, whatever, stuff like that. I mean, you're going to face a problem no matter how you look at it, because you can literally have teams that are like now 15 and whatever. It's very possible, 14 or whatever. Like, it's very possible to have tying records and then just have the divider from there. And then you're going to go. Everything has. Luckily, that's the best thing about sports. Period. Is even if you have a tying record, there are tiebreakers included into it, whether it be strength of schedule and whatnot, or tiebreakers. So I mean, it's going to be a tough thing anyway. But players want money. And I think they're going to see that as an incentive to get more money. Extra game means extra dollars in my contract. So, they agreed to it as they agreed to have it a Wednesday game or Christmas. And who's to say that I forgot I didn't even check, but I don't know what day of the week Christmas falls on this year. As maybe a Thursday or whatever. So who's to say you're not? I mean, if that's cool, then you already have Thursday games. That's what's up. But if Christmas is on a Tuesday, but you're going to have a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday game.
It's
that's going to be kind of on Thursday. So then it falls within the line of other Thursday games anyway. So that's not bad, because you have that for Thanksgiving also. So in regular prime games. So that's cool. But
Lou, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, for me, the league is all about making money, right? The dollars need to make sense. I think it's gonna have to be 2 buys, like fellas said. And the teams that definitely go out, to Europe are gonna have to come back on a buy. Just because it just makes sense that way. But I do believe we're headed that way. I mean, the league wants to make as much money as possible, so it's inevitable, and the product sells, right? We hear that the NFL's outpacing basketball games on Christmas and baseball on any other time. So the money's there. So if the money continues to make sense, they're going to push to 18 weeks, and then it's going to come down to basically the players making that adjustment and with their body, with their health, and what they do in the offseason.
What do you
Wait,
guys?
Paul, right quick. It's funny when you mentioned that last thing, Lou, about outpacing basketball, because I do remember vividly LeBron having that very vivid comment about, no disrespect, but Christmas is our day.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's funny you say that about it being your day, but meanwhile, the 2 football games that went head to head against basketball killed them. So
and because the people were making the excuse that people are not watching basketball because it's on too many streaming services, too many channels, The NBA Christmas games are actually all on ABC, the free Channel 7, and the football games are on subscription-based Netflix. you can't use that streaming thing as the crutch because they just did it on streaming and you guys was on regular TV. You can get you some rabbit ears, converter box, and you could have watched them games. Whereas you needed a subscription or at least the ad version, whatever of Netflix to, what I'm saying. So and they killed their number. So yeah, pretty soon the NBA gonna start playing flag football during the All-Star weekend just to just to get some ratings or something because they done changed the All-Star game rules again. But we'll talk about that later. The conversation continues. But we can, like I said, like we all agreed upon, the money talks. So the players are gonna complain until the collective bargaining happens and they see some. Okay, the salary cap gets raised or this gets, then okay, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So, they can complain and cry all they want. They're going to go for it. But the season's basically over. The season's over. Playoffs is pretty much one more game left. Before we go into the conference championship games, who do you guys have as MVP? So, Jared, I'm going to start with you. Who?
Next person. Next person. No one answer that fucking question.
All right, Lou.
Fuck football, bro.
That's what I was gonna say.
Lamar. That's my answer, Lamar. But fuck Lamar right now. But no, not fuck Lamar. Fuck Mark Andrews.
MVP is not for the playoffs. Remember, it's for the regular season.
I know. Lamar is the MVP to me. Lamar is the MVP to me because he did his numbers. He surpassed his numbers for even his last 2 MVP seasons. All right, the man 41 touchdowns, total touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And he threw for over 4,000 yards. And people say he's not a passer. This man threw for over 4,000 yards. You can't deny this man's greatness right now in the regular season. But I'm pretty pissed about the postseason. Hi, Uncle Pete. But it is what it is.
Right. So you got Lamar as your MVP. Are you saying that with your heart or with your mind?
I'm saying it with my mind. I think Josh Allen had a great season. I think Saquon had a tremendous season as well. I think you really do have a 3-way race into this. And I know people don't like to go into the running backs for some odd reason. Everybody wants to talk about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Right. I think Saquon is very much an MVP candidate as well. Man went for over 2,000 yards and he had a lot of touchdowns. So I definitely think he's very much a candidate, despite with it being a quote unquote 2-man race. I mean, I hate Patrick Mahomes as whatever it is, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he may not have had the best numbers, but his team also had the best record in the AFC as well. So, and the Lions as a conglomerate was just great. So I don't know who would be MVP on the Lions, but yeah.
But to your point now, if you got Lamar and you say Saquon is up there too, Derrick Henry is right behind Saquon. So does that take away from what Lamar did, or he's still MVP if he had the second best rusher as well, or
it helped? Having Derrick Henry helped a lot.
Right.
It took a lot of pressure off of him. It took a lot of pressure off him, but at the same time, you still had to throw. And to have only 4 interceptions, that doesn't matter who you have in your backfield. You still threw. And you still could have made horrible decisions and had 10 interceptions. He only had 4. So and up until week 17, he only had 3. So it is what it is. 4,000 yards, and actually up until that point, it was 3,800 yards and 3 interceptions. So I don't care who you have in your backfield. That's still a good ass number.
Okay.
So
Lou, who you got? Who you think is MVP?
I got to give it to Josh Allen. I think he did more with less this year and still performed very, very well. And I think we're getting to the point where I don't think it would benefit Lamar having 3 MVPs and no Super Bowls. I think it would count more against him. He's had weapons, he's had teams, he's had the receiver, the tight end, the running back, and it hasn't done. Josh Allen, I don't think no one saw the season coming from Josh Allen. I don't think anyone predicted he would have taken his team this far with so little.
Especially after losing Diggs.
And just having to deal with, constant change in that team. He lost his OC 2 years ago. People got promoted out, and he still performed. So I think it has to go to Josh Allen just on the sheer fact that he did everything a player can do on his team to get him to win. And too bad they fell short.
Ben, who you got? Who's the MVP?
I mean, honestly, I would like to see Saquon get it, but that's not gonna happen. They stay away from running backs. But I actually feel like Joe Burrow deserves some love here for that one because his team was straight up trash, and he basically kept them in playoff contention to the last game, basically. So I mean, he ended up with almost 5,000 yards, 40 something touchdowns. So I mean, yeah, he has good weapons, but when your team defense can't stop anybody and you still manage to win out some games and at least get close to the playoffs with what he was working and dealing with and coming off an injury from the wrist, nobody knew how bad that was going to be. I feel like he really deserves that. I know the team didn't win and that's really what's going to kill him, but statistic wise and what he did on the offense, what he can control, I think he was really one of the top ones.
Yeah, I think the 9-8 record would fight against him.
Of course.
He had no defense, so it's not on him.
Right now, and again, we had the argument of the no defense, and it was also they had a plus 38 differential, so they were outscoring teams and stuff. But like you said, yeah, the defense did matter.
And
But
I think
honestly,
the NFL should adopt best offensive player, best defensive player.
Well, they do. They have offensive player of the year.
I know, but like
Christian McCaffrey won last year because they didn't want to
I
give
know,
him
but
MVP.
it's not highlighted the way it should. You give that to the person that you don't think can get, and like Saquon's going to win that this year.
Like they did to Christian McCaffrey last year.
I did the Christian McCaffrey. It's just a way of saying, hey, this is the non-quarterback award, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like if you're gonna give it to a quarterback, I just feel like the wins weren't there for him, but I feel like he was the more handicapped on his side of it. So I mean, if he wasn't there, they would have been a win-win team, most likely. So
I think it would have went to Joe Burrow if it wasn't for the Broncos. If the Broncos if the Chiefs didn't say, shit, we'd rather play the Broncos, or we'd rather have the Broncos in the playoffs than have the Bengals in the playoffs, it would have went to Joe Burrow. Because either way, he wouldn't went to the playoffs.
Right.
So, I think it would have went to Joe Burrow if that's the case. Because, he had a fantastic quarterback season. And he definitely had a lot of adversity. Like, it's not his fault that and that's the thing about it. To be an MVP, I'm only MVP on one side of the field. I can't play defense for these niggas. They can't. It's not my fault that they can't stop a fucking nosebleed.
Has there ever been a defensive MVP? Defensive player ever won MVP?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know. We have to look into that. I don't think a defensive player, again, because like you said, they don't respect running backs on offense to get the most valuable award.
Yeah, I mean they have gotten players. A running back has gotten the MVP.
Yeah, I know they've won it before, but they don't look at defensive players.
Yeah, most of the time the MVP thing always comes down to an offensive player.
Yeah, I don't think Ray Lewis, Luke Kuechly, Singletary, Lawrence Taylor, I don't think any of them ever won it, and they've been the most dominant.
It's because statistically their numbers are not gonna. You can't say like a big number, thousands of yards sounds better than 8 interceptions.
No, but
12 sacks.
It doesn't look sexy. That's all it is. It just doesn't look sexy.
Right.
But you got to remember, you had dominant defenses. 49ers, Ravens, Giants have had dominant defenses.
But you can't single out one guy, though. You can't single out.
Right.
You can't single out. And it's like you got team, solo tackles and team tackles. You got, shared sacks split in half.
Sacks.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you say he, you know what I'm saying? So they need to give a defensive team award or something too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, NFL, listen to us. We got some ideas for y'all. Holla at us. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to talk about the prior games. We just going to focus on the final four.
Next?
The final four was today. We had the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels rookie season. Great year and all that good stuff, but they ran into the Philadelphia Eagles and they lost today 55-23. Yikes. Bad game. But it was definitely a great game for Philly. They ran 36 carries for 229 yards amongst 6 different players. 15 carries only from Saquon, but he averaged 7.9 yards per carry. 3 touchdowns, 118 yards in total. Crazy. And then when they did force Jalen to throw, he was 20 for 28 for 246 yards and a touchdown. So, yeah, Jaden Daniels had, he needed more help on the ground. They were only getting three yards a carry. He averaged 8 yards a carry himself, but that was scrambles and things like that. His longest was like 19. But he was mostly throwing the ball. He threw the ball 48 times for 29 catches, 255 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Not a horrible game, but again, and he's a rookie, so it's not a bad rookie game. But fellas, now off camera, Jared told us that he has not watched a football game since his team was limited. So I won't ask him what he thought about this game, but Ben, tell me what you thought about that Commanders and Eagles game.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of went down like I expected it to go, just because Philly just has a lot of offensive weapons, and Saquon's year is just ridiculous. So it was going to be very hard for them to stop. Particularly the Commanders' defense is not great. I mean, it wasn't great the whole year. Most of the games they won were closer. They were shootouts. So it was never about their defense. They had a good defensive game against Detroit, but Detroit was just a bad day for them. Goff was bad off. So it just made it seem like their defense was better than what it was. And Philly has the #1 ranked defense. So, you put that against a rookie. And again, like you mentioned, they had no running game. They couldn't get any running game going. He needs help, but it's a good start for the Commanders. I mean, for a franchise that was, one of the bottom teams, it's a good turnaround for them. But yeah, like I expected Philly to win. I didn't expect them to smack them by that much, but I thought they were going to win.
Yeah. Lou, what was your thoughts on that game?
I mean, I stopped watching literally in the third quarter. I knew it was over. I mean, that first run by Saquon was just incredible. Like, it made every Giants fan sick. I was sick to my stomach watching it. It sucks watching the running back you let walk away and the quarterback you should have had play each other in the championship game of your conference, and you just sit there with a whole bunch of humble pie because there's literally nothing you can do. So I turned it off because it absolutely sucked, and I can't stand the Eagles. I would have rather seen the Commanders win, honestly, because they're new to it. It would have been a good FU to Dan Snyder for the way he mismanaged that franchise for so many years. So yeah, it sucked as a Giants fan to watch that game. It ultimately really sucked, and we're gonna suck for a while. So yeah.
And both teams in your division, it was the NFC East championship game.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's actually what I was going to say. I mean, I didn't watch the game, clearly. I didn't watch it. But I was going to say, it must really suck for anybody in the NFC East, because if you're a Cowboys fan or a Giants fan, depending on how strong you feel towards it, it must really suck to see the two teams in your division go at it for the NFC Championship game. I mean, I'm sure the lesser of two evils would be Washington. But I think unanimously, most of us would feel stronger, even if you were an Eagles fan and you saw Washington win, you wouldn't be heartbroken about it. Because I think a lot of us feel like fuck Dan Snyder. A lot of us don't like Dan Snyder as a person, period. Just like how Hulk Hogan got booed on Netflix, during the first episode of Raw. Like, people just don't like these people as a person. It's not because of your political views. It's you as a person. And Dan Snyder is not a likable person. So I think we all would have been okay with Washington winning that and going to the championship game for the first time in 30 years when they went against the Bills.
The Bills.
So it would have been fun.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bills, a Commanders Bills Super Bowl would have been a big deal. We know the Bills from the '90s, 4 straight Super Bowl losses. One of them was to lose Giants. One of them was to the then Washington Redskins. Wasn't that the wide right kick?
Yeah.
That was the wide right. You see that old clip, wide right.
Yeah. The Buffalo kick. The Buffalo kick.
Yeah, the Bills would have won that Super Bowl. And yes, they have not been back since those 4 straight. and they're still not going back because right before we started recording, they just lost 32-29 against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs, the team that we all love to hate, they're going back for their three-peat. What is it, the fifth Super Bowl in 6 years that they're going to? It'll be the third or fourth win in that time.
It don't matter. It don't matter. They're going again. That's the only reason time.
They're going
Chiefs
again.
win. That's it.
We wanted Josh and the Bills to get over that hump. I think majority of America was rooting for them.
I was not actually because I had picked the Chiefs. Remember that?
I mean, I didn't bet none of these games because I would have loved it to be a Commanders, Bills. I can't say rematch. They were the Redskins back then, but Washington, Buffalo, Super Bowl again. But in my heart of hearts, I just knew it was going to be Kansas City Eagles again, which we just had a couple years ago as well. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes was just there a couple years ago, and they're going to dance again. So yes, the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes only threw 18 for 26 for 245 yards, one touchdown. He ran for 2 touchdowns though, 11 carries, 43 yards on the ground, as well as Kareem Hunt, 17 carries, 64 yards. Josh Allen, 22 for 34 for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also a ground game, James Cook ran for 85 yards, excuse me. Allen himself ran for 33, no rushing touchdowns. I believe that was a parlay, a pick. Nobody got that one. Clean game for the quarterbacks, no interceptions. But I believe there was a fumble in there somewhere.
Yeah, Mahomes had a fumble.
Mahomes, right? Okay, so clean game in the air, no interceptions. But yes, there was a turnover. And yeah, Buffalo had 4 fumbles. Josh Allen had 3 of them. Ray Davis had 1, and yeah, not good. Can't win the game that way.
Ex Baltimore.
Tell me about that game. I mean, that was probably the closest game we really had all playoffs. I think there was.
Baltimore, Buffalo was close to.
Yeah. Well, you just stop talking about Buffalo, Jared. All right, Baltimore. Relax.
We lost by 2, bro. We lost by 2.
No, that's your team.
We lost by 2.
Okay, you lost. Let's stop talking about them now. All right, Luke. Let's talk about Buffalo, Kansas City. What were your thoughts on that game?
I mean, it was a good game. The first 2 quarters was pretty good. Even the third quarter, some questionable calls. You hate to see. I think the refs pay more attention when Kansas City has the ball than any other refereeing, any other team, in general. I did like the Bills' tactic of wearing the red gloves, knowing that the Chiefs are wearing the red jerseys. So that was good to see, to get that little added bonus of just in case. So I entertaining. At the end though, with 6 minutes to go, you knew it was going to come down to, if Mahomes gets the ball, they're going to score like always. And that part is really, really annoying to me at this point. I think we all have Chiefs overload already. I think we're done with it. I don't think nobody wants to see them three-peat. Right. I don't think people really care about a three-peat. I mean, Grady never did a three-peat. It's not a big thing, but let's pray that they win or they lose, and we never hear about this three-peat thing ever again.
Nobody in the NFL has ever three-peat.
Yeah.
So
nobody.
Not even.
I would like to see it. I would like to see it. I do want to see it.
Why?
Yeah.
Look, we went through the same thing with the whole Brady thing. Everybody hated the Patriots when they were winning on top, and they were constantly there. It's just how it goes. When you're winning, people start to hate you. It's kind of like when the Yankees start winning, they hate the Yankees. But you have to, what the word I'm looking for is like kind of you have to like just look at the greatness that you're witnessing and just take it in. I mean, because you're not gonna see another Patrick Mahomes come through anytime soon.
In defense of that, I don't hate the Golden State Warriors, and they won a lot. I like Steph Curry as a human being. I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I don't like when he loses, he cries, he complains. The Buffalo
they
game,
all do.
The Buffalo game that they beat them in the regular season, ended very closely as well. And when they went to, dap it up at 50-yard line, all Mahomes could say was that was a horrible call. Worst call in his NFL. Oh my God. Congratulations to you too, dog. Like, what I'm saying? Like, I just don't like him. So it's not just because
they
they're
all do
winning.
it.
It's
You see,
because,
but
good, Jared.
I'm gonna say, but I think that's because he doesn't know how to lose, because he's had such a protected
And
career up until
that
this
goes
point.
into it.
He
Yeah.
doesn't know how to lose, so
Sounds familiar.
losing is familiar. It's familiar.
Like a Aubrey Graham kind of, but
It does
we talked about
sound very much like our
that.
last episode that we just talked about, but yeah, I mean, look, actually I did watch part of the game, maybe like 5 minutes of the game, but only because I have money on that. But and
Understandable.
I think I also did say KC was gonna go to the championship this year too, but at the same time, yeah, I think, yeah, KC is just so spoiled at this point. All they know is winning. They don't know what losing feels like. I would love for Philadelphia, and I know, Lou, I'm sorry, I know you're a Giants fan, but I would love Philly to win this game. And I think, unlike the last Super Bowl, Saquon Barkley is a difference maker. I think that's the difference maker between going into the. I know we're probably jumping ahead. I know you want to talk about that next, but I think that's the difference maker, Saquon Barkley, compared to last Super Bowl, because running is very important, especially during, granted, it's in New Orleans, so it's whatever. It's in a dome, but at the same time, I think Saquon is the difference maker compared to last Super Bowl. But yeah, like it was, Buffalo did have a nice game. They came short by 3 points. And honestly, people could have saw that 2021-10 and said, oh, it's over already. But Buffalo came back. I mean, Buffalo had the lead going into the fourth quarter. It just, it's unfortunate how, KC came, and Mahomes scored that rushing touchdown, and it is what it is after that. But yeah, I think we are sick of, but that's just in dynasties in general. I think dynasties in general, we're just tired of, like, people hated the Bulls.
No, see, that's different though.
That's
People wanted
different.
No.
beat
No,
the
it's not
Bulls.
different. It's
Yeah,
not
it
different.
is.
People hated Michael Jordan. People hated the Bulls because they
Yes,
won three
but
straight times, two
you
times.
hated Jordan. You hated Jordan because you wanted to beat him, not because he was a
Right.
crybaby. He was a
You hate,
whiner.
but
He didn't
well,
deserve it.
no, that's true. That's
wanted
very
to-
true. Nobody hated Jordan. Jordan didn't cry about losing. That's very true. He took that shit like a champ.
Like Steph
But
Curry, like there's certain people that
Right.
have
Exactly.
won a lot that I don't think
Right.
is the same. I don't want to group all of that into the same box. I don't
Like
think it's the same.
Brady too. Like
don't think it's
Brady
the same.
also New Orleans and New England. Like people hated seeing New England win. People hated
But
seeing that.
again,
People hated
I
seeing
didn't
Golden
hate
State win.
Brady. Now again, the cheating allegations didn't help, but he wasn't really a sore loser when they did lose because they knew I'm gonna be right back. You know what I'm saying? And you had to respect
Correct.
him, Belichick, and so on. So as much as I respect, Kansas City's coach, it's Mahomes. Mahomes he is the reason for my dislike for them. Obviously, and two Super Bowls that I lost against them. You know what I'm saying?
It's Patrick and Jackson. Patrick and Jackson. We hate both Mahomes. All right, we hate both of the
I
sons.
don't even want to talk about his brother.
No,
It's just him.
that's a whole nother. Yeah.
It's just him. But Lou, let me ask you, what do what will outweigh more? Your hate for the Eagles or your hate for the Chiefs? How do you feel about
Listen, this game can end in a tie for all I care. I swear to God, like it can end in a tie. It really can.
Because I'm not gonna ask you guys your pick just yet. You know what I'm saying?
I think the more sufferable thing to do is watch Mahomes get the three-peat, then deal with Eagles fans all year long.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think the Eagles fan would be more unbearable than KC
Right.
fans.
I think it's because we don't really know any KC fans.
Exactly.
I think
They're
it's easy.
they're
I
over
think
there.
it's-
Nobody pays attention to them in Missouri.
We know
so
like
all right, bye.
bandwagon jumpers and stuff, but I don't really know any Kansas City Chiefs fans. Like,
I mean, no, do I.
yeah,
I don't think I've ever met one.
I've known a
Okay,
couple.
I know one. My dad's wife. She's a Chiefs fan.
Was she a
And-
fan before all the championship
Yeah.
things?
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
She was. And it's unbearable. It's straight unbearable. Especially every time that it's KC versus Baltimore, we gotta I don't like talking to my. I don't like talking. I hate talking to her. So it is what it is.
Look,
Okay,
I just
okay.
feel like we all don't want to lose, and when we see another team win, and when it comes at this fashion that the Chiefs do it in, that it's close games, and you feel like they should have lost, but they still kind of win. That's I think what makes it annoying to some people because it's like, how did they win? They were supposed to lose that game, but then somehow they find a way to win it.
Like last year when Mahomes was like hobbled for the last couple games and he was running for first downs and it's just like, yeah, how do y'all not hit him? Poke at that ankle in the scrum, like when you
But
pile up on him, get a little, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
I don't know what happens, but like Mahomes doesn't look like the fastest man in the world, but he looks
No.
like he's jogging and nobody can touch him.
But what I do love that they do, which I wish my team would do more, is they spread the offense and they'll send people deep on the third and mid, so he can scramble for that. Because if all the receivers is downfield, the defender is going to follow. And like you said, he's not one of the fastest QBs, so you don't really leave a spy. So that gives him, what I'm saying, they only need 5-6 yards. He's got about 15 yards of space because everybody's downfield. And what I'm saying, a lot of teams now play that Kyle Shanahan offense where there's multiple tight ends and bunched up sets, so they keep everything close. I wish Kyle would. We got the receivers now, and I don't want to dwell into my team, but it's like if you spread the offense a little bit more and you send guys more on that quarterback becomes an option now. You know what I'm saying? And he can get that first down. Brock can move. Mahomes is not fast. He can move. We've seen Brady do it. You know what I'm saying? Brady he can get you just that. We've seen Eli do it. Like quarterbacks that are not fast, but hey, I just need to get to that 7 yards, 6 yards. I'm gonna get 10, or I'm gonna just get to it and step out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? So they do spread that to make him an option now. You gotta respect that option. But we got the Super Bowl, 2 weeks in New Orleans. I'm looking forward to the halftime show.
Me too.
I will watch the game because I'm a fan of football. And again, like I always say, because my team is not in it, I can actually enjoy the game. Because when my team is in it, I can't
This is the
enjoy
first
the
time I'm looking forward to the trailers.
game. Right? We, as Marvel fans, we got some movies back coming again. We got some things happening. That a lot of movies was pushed back because of the strikes and things. So the movie theater industry is going to be doing a lot of things this year. We got the halftime show. We got other stuff to look forward to. The game again. I'll get you guys picks on that later. We'll talk about that again later. I know you guys will talk about that again later. One game left in the season. Going into the season, I don't remember you guys' first episode, but did anybody have this being the matchup?
No.
No, some of us had the Rams. I know. I
I had
think
the
me and
Lions.
Ben. Yeah,
I
you
had
had
the
the
Rams
line.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I think me and Ben had the Chiefs. I forgot who I picked in the NFC, but yeah, it wasn't. I don't think none
I
of us
think you picked
had.
the Bears again.
No, it
Yeah, I
wasn't
was
not
about
the
to say,
Bears. It was
Jared.
definitely not the Bears. I guarantee that much. But I know we both had Chiefs. I don't remember who I had out of the NFC.
Right. I think it's safe to say, I think it's unanimous that Jaden Daniels is rookie of the
Oh
year.
wait, no, I had Niners. I had Niners and Chiefs. That's what I had. I had Niners and Chiefs because I thought your Niners would have been a
He
lot better than
jinxed
what
you,
they.
Paul. He jinxed you.
Yeah, well, we had every jinx possible. We had the Super Bowl hangover, the Madden curse, Jared's pick. Apparently, we had people get injured, get shot, children dying. Like it was Murphy's Law this year. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So it's like I just want to forget this year. Like literally, I don't want no more players on the Madden cover. I don't want. Listen, if somebody's trying to rob you for your Rolex, give it up. Our rookie got shot, and the crazy thing too is we were close to either making a trade for Brandon Ayuk to either the Steelers or the Commanders, and then Ricky Pearsall got shot. And then they had to keep Brandon Ayuk, so he could have been a Commander, and that could have been the difference maker. You know what I'm saying? In this Eagles game, that he would have had another receiver that's been a Pro Bowler, been 1,000-yard receiver, would have been a vet on that team, and maybe could have what I'm saying, or who knows what they would have gave us for him that could have took away from we don't know, but if Ricky Pearsall didn't get shot, we might have either traded him to the Commanders or to the Steelers. So
I think all those
Who
holdouts
knows?
didn't help you guys either.
Huh?
Yeah,
What'd you say?
All
the
the holdouts
holdouts.
didn't help you.
Yeah, like I said, it was everything. McCaffrey being on the Madden cover, Super Bowl hangover. It was everything. Every curse, every sports jinx you could think of. We felt it this year. You know what I'm saying? We felt it this year. But next year though, I don't know. We're gonna see because we got a lot of free agency to deal with. I don't think Brock should get the Dak Prescott money. I
No,
don't
he's
think he
not
should.
getting it.
I don't think he
I mean, what
Isn't
do
the
you
should.
deal
do
48?
though?
I
Isn't
hope
the
not
deal
because
for
that
48?
kills everybody else we can bring back. We got a lot of free agents that we gotta, figure out. So I'm not even. I don't even. I'm just waiting to see it. I'm nervous. I don't know where we're gonna go with it, but
Well, the cap is going up next year, so I think you'll be all right with paying Brock what you're paying him, but
Well,
you have too many people on big
yeah, we
contracts.
got too many people to keep on. What up, Jared?
now I was gonna say I think the Niners will be okay. Like I mean, like it was a very tumultuous all season for y'all guys. Like Pearsall getting shot was I don't think anybody sees that coming as a human or even as an athlete. I don't think you even expect that shit to come down like that or even go down like that, But I think y'all be okay in the long run. Like y'all have a good squad. You just
You
got to
picked
play
us this
together.
year.
Like Ayuk was just out. He was out of it. He checked out this year.
Yeah, yeah. Missing training camp. Going back to you guys' point about the season and stuff, and training camp and preseason is very important. A lot of people take that for granted, and him not being in training camp, sitting out waiting for his contract negotiation didn't help. Didn't help. So that does that. But what I'm saying, listen, like I said, I'm not gonna get you guys picks yet for the Super Bowl. I'll let you guys get some time to think about that, read the scouting reports, see what Vegas is saying about it. And we'll get back to that. What I'm saying? Like I said before, everybody can join our, Homie Picks Discord server. Even though the NFL season is over, we'll still be talking some sports in there. We also got our Word Music Dance Discord channel. We'll be talking about everything in there, and we're gonna get some more content and things going on in there. You never know what might happen, what might pop up. Like I said, I'm trying to be more active and be more consistent this year. I promise. But things be going on and stuff. So what I'm saying. But shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you. Comment, share, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Words Business Dance is on all the DSPs. You got the audios on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, all that stuff. YouTube, 2020vision.com. You can catch us all there. Every episode, everything is there. And see you when I see you. Oh, actually, one more thing. Lou, give us one more Let's Ride before we leave.
Let's ride.
There you go.